guys, it's Kelly here again and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another art related video. I know this channel has basically become just an art channel at this point for the month of May because I am doing the Mermaid Challenge and I am doing weekly videos for the Mermaid Challenge, and it's a lot easier to just draw and record myself drawing. It doesn't really require that much thinking, planning, setting up my recording and stuff, so I have been having a lot of fun. And also because drawing is kind of like an outlet, it's really good to just sit down and draw for a couple of hours and not think about basically anything. Also, I have been listening to a lot of audiobooks because while I draw, I like listening to audiobooks, so that has been a lot of fun. Anyway, that was a long and sporadic intro, but as I was saying, this is another art-related video, and this time I have a couple of weird drawings. There's two, and they are done with watercolor, and basically I had this idea of making these tiny little, I want to say postcards because they're tinier than postcards, but they're very small pieces. And my first idea, what you see me doing right now, I wanted to create kind of like a planet, but on the inside, you know, it's a planet. On the outside, I wanted it to be with gold clouds or gold splatters or something along those lines. So I really wanted to create that planety texture. Oh, just a quick note here, that thing that you saw me put all around the circle so I keep the watercolor in, that I forgot what it's called, masking fluid. I don't know how you're supposed to use this. This is the first time I opened it and tried using it, but oh my god, does it stink. I thought I was going to die with just the 5 minutes that I was working with it. It stinks so bad that you actually feel like you're choking. I don't even know how I made it. I think I held my breath until I was done putting it around the circle, but it was horrible. It was intense. I don't know if you're supposed to water it down with water or something. I don't know. I just used it straight out of the jar and it worked really nicely. I'm not gonna lie, it worked very nice. It kept the edges well clean. I didn't do a very great job at laying it down where I'm supposed to lay it down. You will see that after I remove it. It's a little chaotic, but it still worked out cool, and I ended up finishing up the edges a little bit after that, but it was really good. It worked really well. I'll try to remember to link the brand in the description bar down below. And it held up nicely. I thought I was gonna die trying to apply it, but you know, it was worth the pain, I guess. So as I was saying, I wanted this to be like a planet, so I went in trying to create sort of like a moon with craters and cracks and make it seem like a blood red moon, or in my case a plum purple moon. But at some point I realized that it started looking a lot like clouds, and that's kind of where I shifted a little bit. This piece is the tryout piece. The next piece is the one that I'm actually really proud of, but this, I decided to show you this because I still think it looked cool, and it might show you how I did the cloud texture and how I started to realize that it looks more like clouds rather than a planet. So this right here, when I dab a little bit with a tissue paper, this is where I realized that it started looking a lot like clouds instead of craters in a planet. So that's kind of the direction that I decided to take. And it looked really cool just in itself, having the clouds and the purple sky in a circle and having nothing around it. But I did end up putting some gold around later just to finish it off, and I do feel like I shouldn't have done that because now it just kind of looks so messy and I didn't do a good job with the gold accents and I didn't have a plan for them. But as I said, this was a tryout piece, and the next piece on the next page is what I am actually proud of and what I wanted to show you most. So yeah, as I said, the masking fluid held up really nicely. I didn't want to ruin my brush, So I used this old brush that I had because I thought, you know, it's kind of like not jelly, but it's gonna dry down and I wouldn't be able to remove it from the brush. So I used this really old brush. That's why it's all wonky looking. But when I used that really old brush and then I went to wash it, thinking that it's completely ruined and I just might as well throw it out. And I just ran it under warm water and all of the masking fluid just fell off of the brush. So, you know, I had absolutely no trouble cleaning my brush. I don't know if it was a fluke, but yeah. So my horrible brush is alive and well and I have no excuse to throw it out. But that's good because, you know, I'll use it again for the next masking fluid project. As I mentioned, I listened to audiobooks while I was doing this, and I actually did another piece that I'm going to show you maybe next week or the week after that, again with watercolors, and I tried using it to create a gradient of clouds. It turned out really cool, kind of reminds me of a window. I'm gonna show you later on in the month or next month, but I had this notion of drawing clouds for some reason and spacey stuff and gold accents, and I think it's more of a meditative state. So while I was listening to audiobooks, that's what I felt inspired to draw, and I gotta say it worked very well in terms of calming me down. Not that I was too anxious at the point, but it definitely helped just, I don't know, relax me a lot and make me feel more calm, a lot more than I even thought I needed to feel. So it was a good time. I spent, I think, the entire day trying these two that you're gonna see today and the clouds that I'm gonna upload either next week or the week after that. But yeah, it definitely worked in a calming way. So even if you don't draw, I think working with watercolors is a very relaxing, and it can help you take your mind off things. Even if you don't know how to draw, just experimenting with some stuff, with some textures or just blotches of color and looking how watercolors work, I think they're really great for relaxing you and calming you down and working through your anxiety. Because watercolor is a very slow medium, you need to add colors and water and then wait for it to dry and then do it again. And yeah, I was really happy doing this. I kind of even lost track of time a little bit, so I really wanted to finish my audiobook. I was listening to the second part of the Ace of Shades trilogy by Amanda, and I struggled a little bit to finish the second book because it was just not a lot happened, and you kind of had the second book syndrome. If you read series, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But there's always this feeling when you're reading in the second book, at least the books that I've read so far, there's always this feeling that this is kind of like a in-between book, so not a lot happens, and it just sets up the scene for the third one, which is usually the last one in the series. So I had trouble finishing the book, and this way I kind of forced myself to, because while I draw, I really love listening to audiobooks and just listening to something that doesn't require me to concentrate all too much, and this was the perfect time for me to finish the book and draw a little bit. So I managed to do that and basically just exist in my own little creative world for a couple of hours. And yeah, that's basically it for the video. You can see me now working on the second piece. At this point, I really had an idea of how I want the clouds to look and how to actually get them to look the way I want. So it's good to do some practice pieces in the beginning. Like I said, this was the third one at this point, and I think it turned out really cool. I used only watercolors. For the colors, I ended up adding a little bit of acrylic white paint mixed with water for some lighter places of the clouds, the lighter parts of the clouds. It didn't end up looking that great, probably because I muddied the white with the water, but it actually at the end worked works really well, and it kind of looks really well, really good. So I'm happy about that. But I do need to work on acrylics, because I think this is the first time I've actually used acrylics, so I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, also the sun part with the light rays and stuff, that was gouache paint. That's metallic gouache paint. I've used it once or twice before in my pieces. I really love it. It's an amazing gold accent. It's very foily and very sparkly. It looks amazing when the light hits it. It is, however, a little bit, I don't want to say wasteful, but I feel like I'm not using it properly and I'm wasting a bunch of it, because I try to lay it down on the page, but it starts going a little bit too dry, and when I add water to it, we get the effect that we got on the first piece, which is very muted gold, and it basically just looks like, well, what you're seeing right now. I diluted it with water, hoping that I can create a base for it so I can use it straight from the jar or the tube, and it would have the same effect, but I wouldn't waste so much. But that doesn't work. I literally just scrape a little bit from the cap and then lay it down, and I have to do like 2 layers because it does lay on thick, but you can still see some of the paper peek through, and there's also lines for where it wasn't dry enough when I was trying to color it. And so, like I said, I'm not sure I'm using it correctly, and I feel like I'm just wasting the product a little bit. And it's a huge jar, but I love it so much that I kind of don't want to use it. And I don't know if anyone else has that as a problem, but when I have something really nice, I don't want to use it as it's supposed to be used, so I just keep it there in a collection, and it just stays on my shelf just because I don't want to ruin it, or I don't want to finish the product. And yeah, that's a real problem, and I should really work on that, because that's not how these things work. These products are products for a reason, and they're supposed to be used the way they're supposed to be used. And just keeping on the shelf for years just dries it out, and it's absolutely helpful for no one. But yeah, I need to get over that for myself and use it a little bit more. As I said, I really do love the gold accents, and you're going to see in a second when I move the piece around just how foily and sparkly it is. I did add a few, it's like an artistic piece, and I wasn't going for a realistic sun. I've seen people do these, just either very intricate clouds and planets, and just have these artistic stylized moons or stars or suns or light rays, and they're just accents, and I think they look really cool. They definitely give me that meditation vibe, I guess, and that's what I was going for. So that's basically it for this video. We're about to get into the review and the peel off and the review of the piece. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe if you like what you see and would like to see more, and check out my mermaid challenge and my mermaid videos for the month of May 2020. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.